Welcome back to Health District Television. I'm Brian Gresh. As you saw during that commercial break, puffing on a hookah is not a safe alternative to cigarette smoking. It can actually be more dangerous to your health. These alternatives are being marketed by big tobacco companies to one target audience, our youth, in an effort to start teens on the path to a nicotine addiction at an earlier age, often under the guise of a socially acceptable behavior and celebrity endorsements. And as critics allege, as it has always been with big tobacco, it is all about the bottom line and circumventing regulations.
And that's really alarming because, as we know, those kinds of things are very attractive to young people, and it could be a way for them to start to get hooked on nicotine and then progress to other tobacco products.
It's no coincidence that the tobacco retail outlets are in the disparate communities that have children, low ACS, lower education, lower income, communities of color. And why this is a problem is that the tobacco industry spends over $10 billion annually on marketing their deadly products, but 90% of that budget is put towards tobacco retail outlets, point of purchase marketing.
Recently, through its Evolvement program, the Health District has begun studying the placement of tobacco retail outlets in Clark County with the help of an unlikely ally, teenagers. For purposes of the study, a tobacco retail outlet does not include smoke shops. Rather, an outlet is a grocery store, a kiosk at the mall, a drugstore, or often a convenience store. What they're looking for are the number of tobacco advertisements on the doorways, on the streets outside, or at eye level to children when they go into those stores, and the density of retail tobacco outlets in different communities.
So surveys find that 75% of students visit convenience stores or tobacco retail outlets once a week. And the tobacco industry is smart because they're no longer allowed to advertise on billboards, commercials, magazines. So what they do to reach the students or the kids is that they advertise in places they frequent.
The data collected from the Evolvement project is being compiled on the group's website, counterbalanceenv.com, which features continually updated data, maps, and information gathered by concerned teens themselves. They're gathering the information to alert decision makers. Those electeds can limit the number of tobacco retail outlets or limit the tobacco retail advertising itself at the convenience stores. Proponents argue the data proves if tobacco retail outlets can be found in your community, that community smokes at higher levels.
So we find that our teens are really smart here, and the fastest way to get a teen to do something is tell them not to do it. So what we do is we just educate them.
E-cigarettes present a unique challenge to public health because they're often marketed in what some argue are misleading ways, and certainly not just to teens. High-end advertising and mega dollars are being used to advance their sales. Products that began almost as a gimmick 5 years ago, created by a chemist in China, are projected to have sales of nearly $1 billion over the next year. That market opportunity and ability to evade regulations wasn't missed by big tobacco, which has systematically bought up nearly all e-cigarette manufacturers worldwide. Nearly all e-cigarettes are manufactured offshore, despite marketing claims to the contrary. While some components may be made in the USA, it's often difficult to ascertain the product's actual origin. And while most contain some form of liquid nicotine, there is no way to know what other chemicals are also present, and no regulations to protect the consumer.
They're mainly manufactured in China, and they look like regular cigarettes, but they aren't. They have a battery and a capsule that contains liquid nicotine in it, among many other chemicals. And so when you puff on this particular electronic cigarette, a vapor comes out. And so it's not smoke as you would know it, but it looks like a cigarette, and when the vapor comes out, it looks like the smoke of a cigarette, but it's vaporized nicotine actually.
E-cigarettes are nicotine delivery systems with no guarantee of standardized doses, which means that since nicotine causes constriction of the blood vessels and increased heart rate, vaping, as it's known, as opposed to smoking, is a bit of a crapshoot from one puff to the next. And they are not smoking cessation tools.
But it's very important for the community to know that in fact these are nicotine delivery devices. When you use an electronic cigarette, You're putting nicotine into your body at really an unregulated dose. That's what's so scary about this. Already, the scientists have been studying this at the FDA, and they've already found numerous cancer-causing substances within electronic cigarettes. And they vary, the different e-cigarette manufacturers, so they are not safe to use. They are not recommended to help you quit smoking.
It is true there are no ashes, odor, nor traditional secondhand smoke generated by e-cigarettes, something teens trying to hide their habit from parents find quite useful. But that doesn't mean e-cigarettes are safe for others in the vicinity of someone using one.
You will visibly see this vapor come out, and that will land on a surface, so that we don't know enough yet to determine whether it is safe. Certainly it's different than a traditional cigarette smoke, but it's still not safe to say that it's harmless.
The science simply isn't there yet. And there's still the matter of other unknown substances in that residue. E-cigarettes can also break apart, and the liquid capsule can break, potentially toxic to a child or a pet. E-cigarettes are not regulated by any health agency, not even by age. And opponents say the rationale for marketing them leads to one conclusion.
We believe that the rationale for why these products were developed were to get around smoking laws. So, for example, you're not allowed to smoke indoors at your workplace or on an airplane, but some people are saying, oh, well, then why don't you use this instead? And many agencies, including the Southern Nevada Health District, have banned the use of all tobacco products anywhere on our campuses, but also the use of electronic cigarettes. So more and more agencies that are developing no tobacco policies are also including electronic cigarettes as a banned substance.
And legislatively, that's going to be key. As Arelli says, if Big Tobacco is going to use the word smoking literally in regulations, then those regulations need to be widened out to include all tobacco products, and that would include e-cigarettes. And one more thing, until it was banned, nicotine's most common use was as an insecticide. If you'd like to quit using nicotine products, there is help available.
If somebody who lives in Clark County, or in the state of Nevada for that matter, wants to quit smoking, they can call for free the 1-800-QUIT-NOW number, and that's to the Nevada Tobacco Users Helpline.
More information on all of the stories you've seen today is available online at snhd.info and gethealthyclarkcounty.org. Anytime you are looking for updated information on the Southern Nevada Health District, you can also find it on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're also available now in Spanish on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, text follow SNHD info to 40404. For the Southern Nevada Health District and all of us here at HDTV, have a safe and healthy summer.